Hi, I'm Cody Dunlap, and this is my Module 8 video for EDL 851. This is legal aspects of teacher evaluation. This next screen shows my standards, and I understand with the video that I'm recording that you probably won't be able to see all of it, but I will copy and paste this into the Google Plus community. I will summarize the 3 articles that we were to read. The first one was talking about ESA, or the Every Student Succeeds Act. This basically takes away the federal government's fingerprint on to the teacher evaluation process. Instead, it allows the states a chance to have their say and to submit their own proposals to their evaluation policies to the U.S. Department of Ed. But if they're going to do that, states have to come up with their own goals, long and short term, and these things must measure other things than just standardized test scores. The second article talked about specific questions to the validity of the evaluation policies, specifically to the system itself, to the components used to grade, and to things like tenure. And in Louisiana and New Mexico, they question the validity of the system and just being fair in the evaluation policy. Tennessee and Florida, they were questioning using test scores to judge all teachers, even those that did not teach a subject that was to be tested. New York questioned the validity of not accounting for student poverty levels. And Nevada had questions about the validity of connecting their evaluation to tenure. The third article was kind of an overview and asked 4 main questions and answered 4 main questions, asking why evaluation is such a central issue, and then how do the new teacher evaluations work, how the teacher unions have responded, and if there is evidence to prove that the new evaluations are working. And so evaluations are such a central issue because there's been such a major overhaul to the process. And some states now are connecting evaluations to things like tenure and teacher pay, which is really hitting close to home. The new teacher evaluations are more rubric-based and not checklists. They are very individualized, and there's a formula that helps find the teacher's final score. Teachers' unions have responded probably more negatively. They are not quite sure of the idea or plan to connect the evaluation to pay and tenure, and they are very adamantly opposed to including standardized test scores in the evaluation process. And so far, for evidence, there's not really any clear data to show, but the first findings show what we might say obviously, that the teachers that are receiving high marks on their evaluations are usually getting the most out of their students. Here at USD 399, we use the McRail-Q's evaluation system, and Q's stands for the 4 main framework pieces to this system. That is content, understanding, environment, and support. And you can see on the screen here kind of a generalization. Content is teachers plan instruction to teach a rigorous and relevant curriculum. Understanding, teachers use research-based instructional strategies and assessment practices to deliver high-quality instruction. The environment, just that teachers have an environment that supports learning. And support, teachers contribute to high-quality teaching and student learning by following district policies, implementing procedures and practices at the school and classroom levels, and providing leadership. So then it's kind of a rubric based, and there are subpoints, and each subpoint has these 4 areas or 4 scoring places. You can be in the developing stage, proficient, accomplished, or distinguished. And usually accomplished and distinguished usually requires some collaboration between adults. For example, you collaborate with colleagues to develop new professional practices. And so it really shows an understanding of the framework to be accomplished or distinguished. So there are a few pieces to the evaluation system here. There are power walkthroughs that are done here at USD 399. Our principal, our K-12 principal and superintendent is the same person. He wears many hats. And so, but the power walkthroughs allow him to get a more 3D view of our lessons rather than just through the formal observation. We are required to submit a self-evaluation and artifacts that support those four main framework pieces. There's goal setting. We are required to, because this is our first year using McRail, the Q system, right now we have one personal and one professional goal that we are to set for ourselves. Then there's a pre-conference that takes place before the observation, then the observation itself, which lasts usually 45 minutes to an hour, and then a post-conference meeting with the principal and superintendent after the observation has been completed. I got this evaluation recourse from the negotiated agreement for this year. Basically, there's three things that or three pieces or points to the recourse here at USD 399. A reevaluation can be completed, but it has to be no sooner than 20 working days after this has been agreed upon. And then the review of the evaluation has to be signed within 15 more working days after that. The evaluations themselves, though, may not bring about talks about contract non-renewal without adequate time for improvement. My case that I cited was from 2016. It was in California. This was the Jane Doe versus Antioch Unified School District. This was brought about from a group called Students Matter in California. Basically, 13 California school districts argued that standardized test scores should not be included in the teacher effectiveness ratings. And those school districts actually won. The Superior Court Judge, Mr. Good, ruled in favor of those school districts not having standardized test scores be included in their performance reviews that happen yearly. As far as my reflection as I transition to a potential school leader, I just want to make sure that whatever negotiated agreement my district has, that I read through that carefully and that I am well aware of all points as it relate to evaluations, and that I get them done on time, and that I'm familiar with the state policy, any timeline pieces that they have as well, to get that done promptly, to meet, in a timely manner for pre-evaluations and post-evaluations, or sorry, I apologize, pre-conferences and post-conferences, and make sure that I get walkthroughs done if that is a piece, so that I can have a well-rounded view of the staff. And just to maybe include a familiarity with teacher and student handbooks, for that to provide any information that I might need in accordance with the evaluation process in that manner. So those are kind of my reflection pieces on this. Thank you.